Red vs. Blue Season 16 Episode 3 Lost Time has officially released, so let me break it down for you. So we start off with Doc and Griff. As expected, no one really knows what just happened or where they are. Doc offers to help Griff with the time gun, but Griff is still a little salty over what transpired with the Blues and the Reds. He's not forgiving Doc that easy after betraying them, which, I mean, yeah. Is he just expecting to be welcomed with open arms? Tucker was pretty mad last season, but fortunately for Doc, Carolina was in terrible condition, which made for a great diversion of focus. But as far as Griff is concerned, Doc betrayed everyone, and now he's back. Doc does go through this whole self-loathing monologue, but because this is Red vs. Blue, I can't tell whether or not it's meant to be serious. Like, is Doc supposed to be growing as a character? If so, then I say to myself, why? Who cares about Doc? He goes missing every other season for 3 seasons at a time. He's betrayed the Reds and the Blues many a times. He talked shit at Blood Gulch. He almost caused a robot uprising. He teamed with Wash in the meta. He sided with the Blues and the Reds. The only reason no one considers Doc a bad guy is because he's so useless in every scenario he's put in. He's almost not even a factor. Good or bad, Doc is useless. Anything that is useful about Doc comes from Omega. So, I'm with Griff. Doc kinda sucks. Doesn't mean I don't like his character. He sucks. Meanwhile, with Tucker and Sister, we come to learn what they plan to do, or at least what Sister's plan is. She, actually making the most logical statement, says that there's no rush because they have a time machine so they can do whatever. Which, I mean, yeah, you can't argue with that actually. She wants to go back in time and bang a bunch of dead celebrities. Tucker thought she wanted to bang him, which, when is that never not Tucker's thought of what a girl wants? Isn't he always under the presumption that every girl ever wants to have sex with him? Nothing much actually happens here, aside from we learn that he and Kakaina almost did a sex. To what extent that is, I don't know. Is it relevant? Probably not, but let's just place that in the timeline where it belongs. The next duo we get is Sarge and Simmons. Being the nerd that he is, Simmons wishes to evaluate the weapon more and uncover its truths. Sarge, on the other hand, wants to use it to fix the past. His past. The Battle of Broken Ridge. Here we see, excluding Church, the only sort of backstory or life event prior to and having nothing to do with Blood Gulch. Sarge, as of now, of all the Reds and Blues, we know the second most about him. Before this, all we knew about Sarge's past was he was an ODST. He's not that here, but still. So while at Broken Ridge, Sarge recalls his squad getting massacred on the field and he attempts to save everyone. This of course only leads to the demise of everyone and we cut away from there. Now, at first I thought, so Sarge is the reason everyone died. Events of time travel had already played out, so that's why they died. I'm still leaning on that thought. However, there is a small possibility that Sarge is going to interact with his past self. Doing that would seem like a deviation away from current Sarge, unless of course they interact and they do the Church thing last season where he just says, well, I'm never gonna talk about that ever again. Or he gets concussed, or whatever stupid thing could happen to make him forget if Sarge and Simmons do indeed talk to past Sarge. But considering I'm leaning more heavily on the time travel was already in effect idea, then yeah, there is no changing anything. Everything anyone may do, they are only going to be the cause for it. The current iterations that we are viewing are not the furthest existence characters of the Reds and the Blues. They are just one of the infinite iterations that are in a loop. But what happened here with Sarge's past, I was perfectly fine with. Even future Sarge being the cause for the squad's death. The one thing I am very hesitant about because of what just transpired is that it'll take it too far. The Battle of Broken Ridge was a thing none of the audience had ever heard of, so thus taking us there and affecting it shouldn't be a problem for anyone really. But I'm worried they're going to do something like, whoops, they caused Project Freelancer to be a thing. You know, they caused this already established event. That's where I begin to worry where this may go. If something like Caboose sneezes and accidentally sends Allison to fight in the Great War, which obviously she dies in, which causes Leonard to create Project Freelancer, then doing something like that would be injecting comedy into part of the story that isn't meant to be funny. And I hope the writers don't do anything like that. Past events like with Sarge's Broken Ridge battle are perfectly fine. I'm all for seeing past events of these characters which we've never seen or heard anything about. That's actually great. But if they try and change our perception on how events we know of already played out from season 13 and back, then that's where I think it would be a mistake. Speaking of traveling to past events, our last group was Caboose and Lopez. Much to no one's surprise, Caboose doesn't understand Lopez and much like everyone else, just pretends to. Caboose, however, realizes he lost his lucky penny, so they go back in time to try and find it. We learn that Caboose in episode 1 was actually a time-traveling Caboose. He yet again fails to find his lucky penny, so they go back through the portal. These two's bit was more of an in-your-face type of, hey, time travel has already been happening. Like, if you somehow missed it with Sergeant Simmons' bit, then this one should have made it painfully obvious. This may actually be how Lopez got his body back, because on-screen wise, he went from head to being missing from the cast to having a body, and he's back. So now I'm thinking that we're gonna see how Lopez got back to the cast, which, once again, stuff like that is fine. But it's worrisome that the show may overstep its boundaries in terms of the time travel. There wasn't actually that much to talk about in what happened this episode. I will say that I am shocked that we've been bouncing back and forth between the groups in a single episode. I would have sworn that we were going to go one group per episode, but no, and it was actually pretty smooth between them. It didn't feel like we were abruptly losing something or it was awkward. It was actually a very smooth transitioning between everyone this episode. Something else that is getting better as well is their green screening. They've been using it a lot, specifically with Halo 5, but their green screen has gotten significantly better looking. Like, at first glance, I'm sure many people didn't notice Sisters and Tucker's bit at Valhalla was green screened. It becomes a bit obvious when you point it out, but at first glance it looks perfectly natural. I mean, probably it's because it's Halo being green screened into Halo, but still. So mechanically, the machinimators really seem to be honing in on how to make everything look visually correct and pleasing even when not in the natural world. So things are moving a lot faster than I expected them to. I don't know where the next episode could be going unless everyone just keeps jumping between random moments in history. As of now, an overall goal hasn't been set, so I don't know where this story is supposed to be reaching towards right now. Fixing the past could mean a million different things. So for now, we're kind of just along for the ride. But that is going to do it for this video. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, consider becoming a sponsor over on Patreon. It's only $3 a month, you get all the content early, and it really does help out the channel. Be sure to follow me on all social medias, and I'll see you in the next video.